President Biden, First Lady Jill Biden arriving in Lower Manhattan this morning. They will pay their respects here at the site of the World Trade Center disaster. They'll also visit Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and end their day at the Pentagon on this 20th anniversary of 9/11. Over 2 decades, there have been so many incredible stories that have emerged from the people who lived through those terrible attacks.
One of these wonderful people is joining us now. Her name is Lauren Manning. She survived against nearly impossible odds. And this morning, she has a message of resilience to share. We're going to speak with Lauren in just a minute. But first, her 20-year journey to this moment. On September 11, 2001, a phone call made Lauren Manning late for work at the Cantor Fitzgerald offices in the North Tower of the World Trade Center. She entered the lobby as the first plane struck.
And there was this whir of debris flying, and seconds later, this fireball came and just hit me from behind. It kind of flung me toward the doors as it pushed me out, and I just floundered across the highway to a grassy median area where I laid down to roll to try to put the fire out.
Her only thoughts at that time about her husband, Greg, and her 10-month-old son, Tyler.
I did not want to die. I prayed to God. I screamed to God to let me live for Tyler and my husband. That's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to live.
Lauren was rushed to the hospital minutes before the South Tower fell. She spent more than a month in a medically induced coma while surgeons addressed the burns on 82% of her body. With a survival rate estimated in the single digits, she underwent dozens of surgeries, relearned how to walk, how to use her hands while raising Tyler. Over the years, we followed her story as she shared her resilience with the world.
I knew that it would get better.
I was given a shot that many people weren't.
Since that fateful day, she has lived her new life to the fullest, writing a book about her experience, raising money for charity, and welcoming her second son, Jagger, born in 2009.
At the end of it all, there's nowhere to go but forward.
Boy, is that the most beautiful story. Lauren is with us now. Lauren, wow. There's so many things to hit on, but the thing that jumped out to me in listening to that was your will to live. You were not going to die in the World Trade Center. You had that will. Just describe what was going through you during that time, what you can remember.
I think in the first few moments, what was going on was the cacophony and the chaos and the incredible penetrating flames, and I did not understand what had happened. By the time I'd gotten out across West Street, within 15 minutes, the second plane hit, and I had been there in 1993 during that bombing. So at that point, it was very apparent that the terrorists had come back and that this was another attack. And I felt myself going under. And I really, at that moment, it would have probably been so much easier to die, but I don't even believe that death would have taken away the pain. I thought of my son. I had screamed and called to him, I won't leave you now, I can't leave you now. And so I decided, and I made a choice to live. And as I was waiting and hoping and eventually had to come back across the highway, I looked at the towers, and the bodies were falling, and I knew that my offices were where some of the individuals were coming from, and they were my colleagues and they were my friends, and so I vowed to avenge them. And my entire equation was pretty simple: to get back to my son and to avenge all those that didn't have that slim grace and blessing of the chance that I had, fighting my way out of the building.
Well, you avenged them by going on to beat all the odds, to live, just to live. There were moments you were in a medically induced coma. There were moments when you were given almost no chance to live, and you did. And is that part of what carried you forward?
I think that it is at its core just a situation where, when given the odds and the perspective after being nearly 2 months in the coma, I could not speak, I could not walk, I could not talk. Miraculously, though, I thought in my mind I'd be going home at the end of the week. And as the tale was told to me, well, that's not happening. I looked at them and I really saw in the love, the pity in the eyes of those that surrounded me, because the odds of living were still so slight. And I didn't like it. Nobody likes to be pitied, I don't think, and certainly I didn't. And so I thought, well, I'm going to give it my best shot. And I wanted 100% recovery, which is impossible. So I created this charade of sorts where I would try to be uninjured, unwounded. And it's not true, obviously, but it helped sustain me.
You lived because of your son, Tyler, and I was just thinking, was there a time where you had to explain the whole story to him? When was that? And how is he? How did he deal with that?
Well, Tyler is an extraordinary young man, and he's in college now. And Tyler grew up with a mom who was wrapped in masks and, you know, had bloodied bandages and incredible issues for so many years, and he was always by my side. What happened with him is he developed a latent PTSD years later, kind of assumed many of those wounds onto his own self, but he's doing fantastic now. And he's joined by his little brother, Jagger, who we fought to have in every which way. That's like an incredible story. This little boy who was born October 22nd, 2009. And so I finally got my wish, in a sense, for 2 boys. Although I'm certain there are days they're not too happy that they've got me.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
Wow.
you're such a light. And what's, just quickly, like, to be here on this day, to be in this very spot, what goes through your mind?
What goes through my mind is the extraordinary heroism of those in uniform and those that were not in uniform. All of the people that came and saved and helped one another. Everyday civilians were the ones who had the tag marked on their back, kill. And so my heart, my hope, and my thanks goes out to each and every one of them, that not only do we never forget, but that we find this to be a day of hope.
Wow. Lauren, thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing all that.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.